Hey guys, Faxiano here from Ocean Swift Synthesis, and today I'd like to show you our device for the Scope Fusion platform that is called the Wind Filter, Wind Filter Plus actually. And why is it called the Plus? Because it's actually both a filter and a sort of wind and drone synthesis device, depending on which mode you put it in. If you look over here, you can either be in input mode, and then the filtering chain takes, the start of the chain is whatever sound is over here coming connected to the input, or you can put it into wind mode, which is a noise oscillator in the background of this device, which provides the input for this chain of filters. So if we go into wind mode, this is what it'll sound like. Now, like I said, it's both a filter and a synthesis device, and in this video I'll kind of show more the wind mode because it offers me an easy demonstration of the device, but obviously it's the same controls and the same chain whether you're in the wind mode or in the input mode. So first of all, before we get into the filtering, this device in either mode, either as a filter or as internal wind mode, it can work as a droning device. Like for instance, right now, if I switch it into wind mode, you'll see that it automatically plays. So it can either drone on and on like that, or you can also turn on this envelope mode, and now you'll notice I'm going into wind mode and nothing happens, because then it takes its cues of when to go on and off via MIDI. So you could either sustain it and decide when the wind starts and stops via MIDI, or you can actually use it to make all sorts of cool percussions by using the envelope. So it really depends on the settings. You can get anything from sort of wind stuff to percussive stuff, and of course using the input, other stuff as well, if you input like a synthesizer or something like that to it. So what do we have here? Actually, this is something, this device is an idea that came around. I've been showing this often also on my videos. For example, this video is for the Noise Glorious Noise, for the modular tutorial for the Scope platform as well. And you can see it's pretty much the same thing. I have 3 filters and 3 LFOs and everything that you will see on the device. So the device is kind of an implementation of ideas that I've been using with modular in the past years. So what we have here actually is 3 filters, and they are set in series. So the sound goes into the first filter, and from the output of the first filter into the second filter, and from the second filter into the third filter, and then it goes outside. But this is like in the normal chaining. This is if you select here the output from the third filter. You can actually select the output from each and every one of the filters. You can just use one filter and you would select the first output, but you'd have to kind of probably take the drive way down, or it'll clip. Let's see. And okay, there we go. You have to be really careful, of course. You saw how it clipped there for a second, because every time you obviously add a filter, these are all bandpass filters. So every time you add a filter, the sound becomes narrower, and you can give it more gain. But if you suddenly switch, to the first filter, then the sound is obviously much fatter and much bigger. And just be careful that you don't clip. If you're moving around the filters, take down the gain a little bit as you move around. So let's turn it off for a second. So again, 3 filters in series. They are all bandpass resonating 24 dB filters, and you can choose to output from either one from either one of the filters, like I said. So each filter has its own input gain knob, and then you have your own. Each filter has their own cutoff knob, their own resonance knob, their own keyboard tracking knob, and then an LFO, one modulation, a mod knob, and a drive knob. Now the drive knob is just a distortion, but let's stop for a minute to talk about the modulations. As you see, LFO1 here, LFO2, LFO3, this means the dedicated LFO for this filter. So for example, for filter 1, it says LFO1 and it will be this LFO. And this would be the mod amount of the cutoff from this LFO. And again, for each one of the filters, LFO2 will be this dedicated LFO that is dedicated to LFO2. And then you have at the bottom here a mod LFO. So this is an additional LFO, but it's the same LFO for every one of the filters. So just to summarize, you have one dedicated LFO for each filter, and an additional LFO that goes to all of the filters. So you kind of have a really nice way to modulate everything that is going on here. You can get really, really deep and unique stuff, moving things around. Another cool feature to take notice is the keyboard tracking. With the keyboard tracking, you can actually play the keyboard and you can pretty much play the filter. I'll show you, maybe I have some keyboard tracking examples in the presets in a bit. So again, each filter is the same, like we said, you know, with the modulators, with everything, it's just a straight up chain of filters. With the mod LFO, you choose the output, provide output gain. This is all very, very simple stuff. But in the end, especially for producing something like wind, it is very useful, especially because the filters are kind of really nicely resonating, and you can, if you just give them a little touch, you can get really nice sort of wind approximations going. And of course, if you stick this thing into some delays, reverbs, and stuff like that, then it becomes all that much more nicer. But I want to show you, you know, the raw sound of this device. So what we're gonna do, let's just take a listen to some of the presets that we have here. Not all of them. Oh, okay, I do have my MIDI keyboard, so I can actually let you hear whatever percussive sounds we have as well. So let's see. And this is a little joke. Maybe you saw my Akai Rhythm Wolf video. So this is pretty much like the 3 kicks you can get out of the Rhythm Wolf. It's just a little joke, but let's listen to more. Oops, a little clipping. So even if you go for percussive stuff, you can get all sorts of stuff. Notice that the LFOs, they go into audio rate. So that doing that really can, you know, you're really getting into FM territory. It doesn't really matter that the input, even if it's noise, you know, the filter is moving really fast, and you have various filters and the high resonance. You can get stuff like this. Tonal stuff and tonal effects and stuff. But let's move into the more interesting stuff. Where's the wind? It's called wind filter after all. There we go. And of course you can layer a bunch of these. This is something I often do. It's obviously not meant to be played, you know, full volume and just by itself. It's supposed to be part of a soundscape, part of a drone or ambient setting kind of thing. But also you can also do kind of low warp core, as the preset implies. And here is some more, you know, kind of the original idea, wind. And what I like to often do, I don't really know if I have enough. Yeah, this doesn't take a lot of DSP. So what I like to kind of do is open a bunch of these. Let's see, I have some room on the mixer. Open a bunch of these. Even, I'll start with 2, but that's just the idea, you know. You can open 3 or 4 of these even. And I like to kind of play around, go to my wind presets actually here, like exactly what I'm doing now. And play like a couple, 2 or 3 together. Even doing something like, you know, it would be nice just, you know, throw all 3 of them together into some effects together, like a reverb and a compressor. You know, and you already got something really nice. And of course, if you add that on top of some of the other drone devices, like the DJ Dreamer or the Shruti box, especially like the Aeolian harp goes really nice with this, you can start to get really nice drones and soundscapes. So I kind of like to mix and match them, you know, open exactly like we did here. Maybe the last one is a little bit low now. You get really nice results. So obviously it's a little bit digital, but I don't think it really matters. I think it's really nice, especially again with effects and with more drone setting devices. You can really quickly build a quick soundscape. Especially noticing that it's as a scope user, the wind filter is pretty cheap on DSP. You know, it's not really heavy. You can easily open more than one of these. I've actually only experimented with 3 of these. I wonder how, like, maybe experiment with like 5 or 6 of these, and you know, you can automate something like the overall gain of each one of them. Um, you know, and you have six of these going, and basically kind of what the Aeolian harp. If you watch our Aeolian harp video, check that other video. So imagine like how the Aeolian harp has 16 slots. So imagine instead of 16, but like 6 wind filters, and you move them around and sway them coming. I don't know. Just I'm getting ideas here. Just doing this video, and kind of just to show what you can do with this stuff. And again, you don't have to use the wind mode. You can also use input mode, which is really interesting. And even though I was involved and developed this device, I didn't even check this mode out too much yet. So I'm looking forward to kind of using the input mode with some of our synths and recording some music with both of these modes actually. So hope you enjoyed this video. This is actually a free device, guys. You can go to our website, www.oceanswift.net. This is one of our free devices. If you have a scope platform, you can just go over there and click on the device and download it both for PCI and for Excite. So thanks again for watching the video, and thanks for keeping track of what we're doing. See you later.